It continues to sadden me how little attention Nighthead 2041 is getting just because of how solid the story is so far and some really cool action scenes. But I will say, if I have to see that stupid factory sign one more time, it seems like every other cut of a scene is this stupid sign of this factory outside. It kind of reminds me of Wake Up Girls, and I had these huge issues with the animation in that second season and how they kept showing outside this window because they didn't want to animate things. But yeah, they did had a couple slips up this particular last episode, episode 6. I did miss doing impressions on 5, and I do apologize for that. Just a lot of stuff happening last week with Evangelion and everything. But yeah, these are my impressions on episode 5 and 6, so let's dive into it. But yeah, this pretty much opens up with, yes, they end up saving the brother Takuya. Had to do some heart therapy shocks on him just to get him to wake back up. They kind of acknowledge the idea that he fully awakened and he wasn't able to control his power, so it basically nearly killed him. They're also acknowledging the fact that we do have the awakening of both Michio and Reika. They're obviously very hot-headed on the idea that they can now use powers. They go through this whole process of kind of showing them, essentially training their powers. Essentially, Yuya is being personally trained by Kimie, and essentially he's supposedly has a lot of potential. They kind of pointing out the fact that he's seemingly able to see things, not just the past, but also the future. Get this idea that he also needs to learn how to shield himself, create a shield that will also protect him from things, because it seems like he's able to kind of get a little too much information flowing into him, so being able to create some kind of barrier will be kind of crucial for him. In episode 5, we also got a lot of insight into specifically Kaio Yushima, who is the mother of this crazy kid that's killed like 50 people. And yeah, her history with Shoko. She met Shoko. Shoko kind of guided her, kind of gave her this little vision, talked about how she can see into the future and into the past further than the actual textbooks. She at some point disappeared, but then left her something that kind of informed her that she needed to go to this location, hide inside of this shrine, and what happened is when she emerged from that, time had skipped forward. So it was almost like she was putting her somewhere to keep her safe away from something that happened, which I would kind of assume is obviously World War III or whatever technically happened during that time that we haven't really revealed yet. But like I said, my assumption is that World War III didn't happen and that it was essentially where a lot of people awakened to supernatural powers and it caused massive chaos before the governments decided to lock down on the knowledge of psychic powers as well as the true history that happened so that nobody ever awakens again. Because in my opinion, it's about the awakening is about knowing that it exists, that you'll be able to manifest it. It was curious that essentially after she disappeared, she did postmark a letter to go to her that was marked for 2023, and it was sent in 2014. So she knew, again, that 2023 something was going to happen, which, again, we know this is World War III. This is kind of an annoying part because this guy just starts getting stupid irate about her explaining what's happening, and he doesn't understand it. And it's like one of those moments where, yeah, technically it happens because Naoto decides to manifest his powers to shut the guy up. Like, yes, these do exist. You guys are part of an organization that's about, getting rid of this suppression that's happening. You're literally suppressing right now. But yeah, we also have pretty much this alliance end up bringing up a whole bunch of people into here. They explain that each one of these people that are part of this alliance all have had experience with some terrible thing that happened because society has squelched the thought of supernatural abilities. Like one guy was apparently praying at worshiping at a shrine. One was just the parent was just telling a old story. So you get an idea of how this society has created essentially the alliance itself. Which gets into the sixth episode as they have Naoya in custody. They're trying to force Naoto to basically go with them to this news station where they will reveal to the entire world that supernatural powers do exist. So they do go there, even though Naoya's like, no, look, I've seen the future. This isn't going to go well. You're all going to end up dead. They still end up going. We do get a brief glimpse before this kind of happening that Kaio recalls more moments with Shoko in the past where Shoko essentially lays out that your son is going to be a crucial part of something that's going to happen in the future, and it's going to be painful. And she's apologizing for it, like it's her fault. She knows that something's coming up, and that her son is going to be involved. So that kind of indicates that either maybe it's already happened, or Yeah, I'm guessing the boy's gonna get loose again and start killing people again. Again, we need to put this poor kid down. This news reporting station had also, just prior to them kind of invading, did already kind of mention the idea that they give us a little bit more clear picture to the world as a whole, and they are reporting that something is happening in the Middle East, that it's supposedly coming to a conclusion soon, but they're obviously blaming the fact that these people believe in supernatural elements that is the reason for the conflict. And they mention the idea that they're the most peaceful area of the entire world just because of the restrictions they've placed are the most severe. So, yeah, I guess patting themselves on the back, I guess. But yeah, they invade, end up finding out there's a mole. The mole rats them out to the SWE. The SWE arrives before they can even show off the supernatural powers they want to do. Naoto flees, and then, yeah, Takuya confronts Naoto, and we have like an all-out battle in the parking garage. And this is kind of one of those moments where I'm like, Takuya is kind of annoying at this point. It's like, why is he suddenly, okay, well, my brother's seen you guys together with my mom and dad. Obviously, you did something with my mom and dad. It's like, okay, where do we come to that conclusion? The vision he's seen is that you were both seeing the same thing, that you were in a house with your parents. So where's the conclusion that you have that a couple of, that Naoya and Naoto as a child kidnapped your parents? That makes perfect sense. Okay. I guess you can connect to the idea, well, technically Naoto has abilities, that he could have used the abilities to capture the parents. I don't know. But yeah, that seems to be the driving force now for Takuya. But this scene did technically answer the big question that I had, was how is Takuya and Yuya going to respond to what they're doing? They are part of the SWE that is essentially bringing misfortune and bringing down people who have abilities like they do. That their whole job is to squelch the public of knowing something that they themselves can do. But Takuya, it seems to be like similar to what we experienced with like Michio and stuff. They are pretty dead set on, there's orders. This is to keep society's orders. They're already pretty much educated on the idea that this whole thing is to prevent chaos. Plain and simple. There's no philosophical idea here. It's plain and simple. This is to keep order. SWE sees this as a threat that people would know about this, so they're squelching knowledge. So that makes sense. I kind of figured that Takuya is probably going to be the evil brother, the bad cop, and at some point, obviously, Yuya is probably going to have to correct his brother and fix him in the direction that he's going. That's kind of where I see things going from this point. But yeah, they have a really cool epic battle, really cool scene. I love this fight. It was just so well done. Some great action with their kind of psychic powers going head to head. Seeing them crush the gun, crush the car. A lot of that stuff is really cool. Just an all-around really fantastic fight scene, which was nice because like just before this, when we had this whole scene with one of the girls was trying to fight back against them having Naoya in custody, they literally did the whole, fighting happening off screen, which I was a little bit frustrated by. So they kind of made up for it with this scene. It was really well done. But yeah, this basically concludes with Naoya kind of awakening again, using his power to seemingly teleport Kayo, the other girl, I don't know what her name was, and as well as Naoto away from everything. Now, my theory at this point is I'm wondering if Naoya is going to awaken to time travel. Now, the question is, did they teleport to somewhere else? Or did they teleport to another time? And I think this is going to be like a crucial point for them to really kind of, because we're already in the 6th episode, I'm assuming this is probably going to go for a single core. So this makes me wonder if at this point, next episode, we're probably going to get into the history. And this would be a great time to do that. Having Naoya and Naoto teleport to other characters to address what happened in the past. Now, the only reason why I'm kind of questioning if it will be a time travel to tell the story of 2023 is I would assume they would want to at least pull Yuya into the situation. That way Yuya would be the voice of reasoning for the SWE. But I can still see it being a thing of this is how we're going to address what happened in 2023, is having at least one party go back in the past and find out what happened. That way they can come back and explain, this is what really happened. Again, if it is a case of the idea that 2023 was where a bunch of people awakened to psychic powers and it caused destruction, what do you do from that point? Are you okay with people knowing that it exists, that it can happen again? That's the big question mark. But again, it could be that that wasn't the case, and that's my speculation. So we did get pretty much a confirmation of what I was expecting during the entire thing with the news station and having Rika and Michio coming in there all hot-headed. I kind of expected that to be a thing, so we'll see. Probably in the next episode, we're going to have Michio being all butthurt because he got one-upped and he thought that he was super powerful. Yeah, that's gonna be a thing. But yeah, that's my thoughts on episode 5 and 6 of Nighthead 2041. I hope you guys enjoyed my impressions. If you did, leave a like down below, comment, let me know what you thought of the episode. Subscribe if you haven't already. Support us on Patreon if you can. And I thank you all for watching. And y'all take care.